So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you're listening to this. This is Match Bailey alongside my critic and partner in crime, Ricardo Medina.
Hello.
And this is the latest episode of Bears Beats and Bailey, Season 4.
Yep.
So, the Academy Award season is actually underway. I believe this week, at the time of this recording, we're supposed to be getting the official list of Oscar nominees. So with that being said, we will be talking about two movies that we know for sure are going to be nominated for an Academy Award or two. The first being Lady Bird. That's a movie that a lot of people have been praising to high heaven ever since it came out. It's the debut feature film from writer/director Greta Gerwig.
Yeah, Greta Gerwig.
Yeah. And the second film is one that I was really excited for. Tonya.
Yeah.
Which is a biopic of sorts about the legendary figure skater Tonya Harding. Apart from all that too, I saw, this will actually be the first 2018 movie that I'll be reviewing for this series actually. It's called 12 Strong. This is a war film. It's starring boy Chris Hemsworth, So it's basically Thor on a horse.
Right.
So which is why we never got to see Thor on a horse before up until now. But anyway, and before that, I will talk about a Marvel TV series. But in this case, it didn't come out on Netflix. It came out on Hulu, of all places. I'll be talking about season 1 of Runaways.
Okay.
Right.
I don't watch this.
Yeah.
And then, in other comic news, all the little TV shows come back. Supergirl came back.
Yes.
Flash came back.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So.
With the exception of Legends of Tomorrow, which is
Legends did come back. Right.
Yeah, but we got the season premiere of Black Lightning, which I'll confess I haven't watched yet. Just a lot.
Right.
Of stuff
I watched it.
I just kind of don't want to. Well, personally, I really don't want to hype myself up too much. I just want the, when I'm ready to watch it. Not saying I'm gonna ignore it completely, but I just don't want to go in all excited and hyped up for something that will eventually grow on me.
Right.
But is it good?
It's good. It's good actually. It's quite good actually. But not it's not a big ground shaker type, but it's solid. I thought it was a solid premiere, good characterization, everybody likable. But it's a pilot, so it have pilot feelings to it now.
Yeah, that's it. That's why I didn't want to rush into it.
Right, it's a pilot. I mean, I wouldn't say it's as good as Flash's pilot, but about a little behind that.
All right, but
Flash's pilot, you kind of having problems, a lot of problems, but this one, it's fine.
Okay, but question, right? Because I only saw like one trailer for it from last year. Does this do something a little bit different, like say along the lines of like what Luke Cage did in terms of the aesthetic of the blackness of it? Does it do anything?
No. Yeah, it's a CW show. Let's just be clear about that. It doesn't try to do anything new or interesting in that way. It feels like a CW show. It's just way more black people in it.
Right. Which is weird because at least with the Netflix Marvel shows, they do something different, and that's what I'll talk about here with Runaways. But continue.
Right. What they do with it is, in some ways, I would argue it better than Luke Cage in terms of handling quote-unquote black issues, because what it does, it touches upon black issues, but it's not too heavy-handed. And they put things, it's well constructed and very conscientious in that way of putting things in its place. So there's a character who is into the Black Lives Matter being woke stuff, but that character is put in their place in the story and serves a purpose quite well. The narratives work for the story. The villain looks great. I actually really like that villain look. He had this kind of weird, kind of albino, the show going on with him. Kind of way, and he definitely looks like a bad guy. The main star is the star, and he works well. And I forget the actor's name, but he played. Well, there's a kind of little joke that they had to bring up eventually, but the guy who played Raiden in the second Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh yeah, that.
Forget the actor's name. It's slipping my mind right now, but he
wannabe Christopher Lambert.
Well, yeah, a little bit. But he's Black Panther's kind of he's the tech guy now, closest to tech guy.
You said Black Panther there.
Sorry, I said Black Lightning's tech guy essentially. He is good. It not wowing me fully, but it's solid. I actually like what they do with it, and it's a good intro to the character, and it doesn't do a typical origin story in its own ways, but it's good characterization. The acting is quite good. That's the real sell of it. Everybody's very, very good in that way. And they does make sure and get it done. It's both written and directed by the same person. I forget the person's name off the top of my head right now. But it's, like it for the most part. It have potential. We'll see what they will do with it.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Also, before I forget, well, for even if you're not a wrestling head, well, I won't call myself a wrestling head, even though I do occasionally watch pay-per-view too. Tomorrow, as in Monday, at the time of this recording, WWE Raw will be celebrating its 25th anniversary.
Nice.
They're gonna have a 3-hour special. They're gonna bring in a bunch of legends. Well, of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin, is gonna be there because, of course, he has to be there. Undertaker, a lot of heavyweights are gonna be making appearances.
Right. So I didn't start Raw. I didn't start watching Raw from since the beginning. I started watching.
I wish that I got to see during the 90s because. I don't know. It was just something about it, like the Raw's War era, that I missed.
Right, exactly. Well,
There's 90s
that's
about
what,
it. Yeah.
That's when I got into it. So I got into it when I was about 12 or 13, which was like exactly the age they target for what we call the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
That was about 6 months or so before Stone Cold won the title for the first time, which was pretty epic for me.
Right.
That's when Mike Tyson was there and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And I was never a big fan of Bret Hart and all of that shtick, but to me it was the perfect marketing approach to how to deal with these characters and why it works so well. They granted that they dial everything back, especially when John Cena came about. But to me that period was so great. I mean, it is Mankind falling off the Hell in a Cell and all that shit.
Yeah, classic moment right there.
Yeah. So all of that Undertaker was he perfectly fit into that paradigm.
Of course.
Bret Hart was a great figure. Shawn Michaels was perfectly fit in that paradigm. The rude dude, playing that whole attitude thing, and then him and Triple H, the Generation X was
Generation
like
X,
it was emblematic
China,
of that whole,
China, probably one of the
right.
most influential female wrestlers ever.
I'll say that
she
to
was
this
just
day.
so badass.
And then Stone Cold Steve Austin himself, he just played the whole shtick really, really well. They did some great marketing with him. Why he works so well. It's like, he's not underdog necessarily, but they played him like one kind of, and then they had him do the whole badass truck driving, beer swilling kind of thing.
Beer swiggling kind of thing.
They make it totally work. And then there's a period when The Rock came about as well.
Yes.
Although
he was the one who created the word SmackDown actually. Yes.
Right. So he started. I forget when he actually was his first match.
I think he started
96.
I can't remember if he started off in SmackDown itself.
No.
He
started much earlier than that, but I think he came about in 96, I think was his first match, if I remember correctly.
I can't remember.
Yeah, and it's great. This period was it's huge. I mean, the video games came about by that around 2002 or so. Rock started to become a big star because he was in the Mummy.
Yeah.
The PlayStation 2 graphics.
Haku Machete.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And Raw, it's great to see Raw celebrating 25 years. That's great. JR, Jerry King Lawler.
Yes,
awesome.
they're gonna be there as well.
I miss so when daylight savings hit, Raw was a little too late now, so I had to go to sleep by that time now because it was way too late. Like it is an end midnight, and most times you couldn't go to sleep. You couldn't stay up there. I couldn't stay up there later at the time. Nobody could stay up and then wake up to function in the morning now.
Right.
But if I missed it, what was awesome is that you had USA had a Saturday morning show that used to run after the cartoons. So USA had Action Extreme Team. Yeah, remember that shit?
Oh yeah. I remember that.
But it had Action Extreme Team. But when Action Extreme Team played out and finished, right after they had Raw, I forget what the name of the program was, but basically on both on Saturday and Sunday, they had a program that used to just recap everything you missed.
Yeah.
So just I think it was like an hour recap. It wasn't long.
Yeah, it was an hour.
That was great. It's an awesome period of my childhood.
Yeah,
so
well, the thing is for me, because, sorry to cut you there, but for me, I did not grow up in that Raw as War era. Unfortunately, I didn't have cable, whatever. But there was a period where, our local station, that was TTT Channel 2, actually used to air WCW Monday Night Nitro, right? And then it was that moment where Vince McMahon ended up buying out WCW, and that moment I was like, oh shit, okay, this is real. And then later on, his son Shane ended up buying WCW and all that kind of stuff. Now WCW is no more, but that was when I got into Raw, around that period there. Right. That's when I was introduced to performers like CM Punk and Kurt Angle, of course, Brock Lesnar, there's a whole bunch of wrestlers came in from that period. Trish Stratus, Lita.
That was okay, so I think it was 2002 or so. That's around the time when I stopped caring about it.
Oh, okay.
So I'd have been 16 at the time, I think. So what happened is two things happened. A couple things I would argue happened. They changed the name, so WWF couldn't call themselves WWF anymore.
Yes.
Because of World Wildlife Fund.
Yeah.
They had to change the name.
Dumb gimmick. Get the F out. I was like,
right. Yeah, and I remember. Yeah, they had to like try to market stuff off. Right, and then they call itself WWE. It just didn't have the same ring to it.
True.
And then, what happened, boy? Oh, that is when they did the big battle. Right before that, they did the big battle versus WCW, and they had Stone Cold turn a heel and Kurt Angle was a good guy. And this kind of
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this kind of turned me off because it was kind of dumb because the big marketing thing was because of 9/11. They had to do big America first, America kick butt. So Kurt Angle was perfect for that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Kurt Angle's marketing was kind of a heel before because he was meant to be the douchey American hero. No?
Yeah.
But they decided to say, okay, look, 9/11 happened. They had to switch things up. And they end up switching everything up. By the way, we're going to talk about 9/11 with your movie coming up, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right.
Definitely
right.
With 12 Strong. Mm-hmm.
So nice segue.
Yeah.
And I remember at that point it just turned me off. Everything was like, eh. And then I think at the time, we call him Undertaker was not really being the Undertaker. He was this American badass crap.
Yeah,
that wasn't
I remember that. Yeah.
And by then,
it's like some years later that he got back to the original.
Right. And by then I stopped giving a shit. You kind of grow out it, and it's like, okay, wrestling is for kids now. 3 years before, 13-year-old Ricardo, awesome. 16-year-old Ricardo, fuck this. You really didn't care. You really didn't care. I couldn't get myself to care anymore.
Yeah.
By that time, so you just kind of grow out it, and I occasionally got back to just to see a couple things. Like I remember when Donald Trump was there.
Yes. That WrestleMania, that was classic actually.
Right, and so big portent for the future, by the way. And
and in the end, Vince gave hair sheave off.
right, and I remember it had a whole bunch of stuff. You get the stunner, and then he sell the stunner real bad. I remember that. Yeah. Anyway, it's great. In that show. It's great to see. It's great to see. WWF. I see WWE. Raw got that far. In its runtime because Raw is a big staple for a lot of people. In television.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on the night
and a good launching point for for future actors. Like John Cena. Right now he's doing the animation thing with Ferdinand. Well, I haven't seen it, but I heard it's pretty good. I think you probably disagree. Yeah, that's what you heard. I don't know, but yeah. Final. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, and maybe because I don't religiously watch these shows, and I could brag and boast and say I've watched this since episode 1, but they keep saying that it's the longest running TV show in history. But WWE Monday Night Raw. But isn't that the Simpsons honor? Like, isn't the Simpsons the longest running TV show in history?
It could probably make the case for most episodes, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, the Simpsons came out earlier. But I don't know. I don't know. This phrasey statement kind of bullshitty.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what it is they're saying exactly.
Although in their defense, I think the argument is that because Simpsons is a seasonal show, right?
Right.
No, it just goes straight through. So that's the thing. Right.
No, that's what I'm saying. It probably have more episodes in terms of total number of episodes, but not longest.
Okay.
So I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't give a shit about that.
But but what would I say though in closing though, what's really great about Raw itself, even is that they just managed to stick to their formula. They just took something as basic as wrestling and just turn it into sports entertainment. And they just kept with the formula. Even though it might get a little tired at times, but they just stuck with it, No,
I fully agree with that because that is one thing that Vince McMahon, he's Vince McMahon Jr. actually. What he mastered is he understood he just understood good marketing and how to make the joke. There's a whole joke about him when I think Ted Turner called him and say, hey Vince, I'm in the wrestling business. And Vince retorted and say, that's nice. I'm in the entertainment business. You totally miss the point.
Okay,
you totally miss the point if you think it's about wrestling. It's not about wrestling. It's theater.
Exactly.
Remember South Park? Yeah. Remember South Park made that joke about it. That whole episode about they had the rednecks with wine swilling and talking about the wrestling arc as if it's a big serious theater thing. Yeah, that's what it was. It's soap opera for dudes.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
That's essentially what it is, and it works. It works quite well. But not to say there's not real sacrifice and pain going into that.
Of course.
Another old joke that Hulk Hogan used to always say, he say, if you're saying wrestling is fake, okay, that's fine, but I've had 9 real back surgeries.
Yeah.
That's an important point. I mean, a lot of these guys really put their life and soul and their body into this now. And it's serious business. You got to understand that. By the way, shout out to the guys at New Evolution Wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, did a little bit of work with them.
By the way, yeah.
Yeah, did a little bit of Hot Shots, did a little bit of work with them. These guys are really dedicated. They understand the material and they understand why wrestling works. It's a totally great fun time to go, chill out. It have an hour. It is last like about 2-3 hours. And yeah, I remember going a few nights and it was great. And I did a movie with one of them. It was great great experience. The whole thing was such a very enlightening in many ways. And it totally works. So that's about it. I think wrestling is an interesting paradigm.
Yeah, it is.
It really skirts that mix between reality and fiction, but the aspects of reality in the sense of, well, we are going to be really dark and really, a lot of this stuff is, a lot of these people is like the modern carny culture, right? And a lot of these people are going to be a little politically incorrect here, but these people in many ways, it's kind of unfortunately drags the society in some ways. They form their own family, their own home lives are really unfortunate and sad in many ways. Many of them, they suffer from drug issues, mental health issues, but it's untouched. And in the case of much like how in the case of pornography, you have a lot of like a high death rate.
Yeah.
For many reasons, for suicide, a lot of high suicide rates.
Yeah. It's like a common messed up, but then when you're in the game, you gotta stay sane, and sometimes it's hard to do. So you have to
exactly. It has a lot of. It's a way to you have to try to make these people's lives. They have to make their lives work. It's their own family. You have to understand that. You have to respect that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you see, we get all these dark stories of what happened. Remember what happened to we call him by
Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah. Perfect example there.
Yeah, and then the nightmarish scenario of the other guy, of what's his name?
Not Kurt Angle, no.
Not Kurt Angle. Crippler Crossface. He used to do Crippler Crossface. Shit, it really slipping in my mind right now. But yeah, he had a really sad story as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, you had to understand that. So.
You gotta respect them for what they're doing too.
Yeah, you're right,
even
exactly.
if you don't care for the crappy acting, because yes, they do get away with some crappy acting.
That's fine. And it's the aspects of how to be well adjusted, how you're gonna get out it, who lasts in the business very long, how you could die young, and a lot of people don't last long; they die very young,
Yeah, and if you're managed to get old and make it to the Hall of Fame, because yes, there is the WWE Hall of Fame. That's amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
that's the thing is how to just be successful, how you can come out it and just have a positive outlook on the whole thing.
Of course,
the movie that we have to reference is one of my favorite movies ever, The Wrestler.
Yeah, definitely from
boy.
Darren Aronofsky.
Aronofsky, hard.
Many will argue it's probably his best movie. I say it's his most.
It's my personal favorite of his. Out of all of his films, because it's a guy that top filmmakers like that, you just dismiss them as you could just do airy fairy bullshit. They're like, no, that shit was grounded as hell.
Yeah,
like,
but the end of that movie, but that last shot always gets to me. My God.
Yeah. And it is brutal and really well done. Just emotionally brutal. They make the joke the 90s sucked. Yeah, that's where that come from. Yeah, just that running joke of the 90s sucked. Yeah, the 90s sucked for a lot of people.
It's my favorite period, but favorite decade in my opinion, because
I grew up in it.
Me too.
I can imagine. But when you think about it, the 90s was kind of a cultural wasteland.
Yeah.
It was like when I'll call it the period when nihilism took root.
Yeah.
But that's it. Not much for me to say more about wrestling itself.
Yeah, well, I think we could kind of wrap up for here. But all that being said, though, happy 25th anniversary to WWE Raw. I can't really say may you continue on 25 more years. I don't know. I can't really say where this franchise is going to go into the future. But hey, who knows? We'll see.
It's something that will always stick around. It's something that can't go away. As long as you have I'm going to, again, politically incorrect, but as long as you have a working white underclass.
Definitely. You're not going to see black men like, hey, where's the wrestling? Come on. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna flourish in that way. I mean, not to say you don't have great black wrestlers or anything like that, or it's not. It's the kind of, I'll look at it as the anti-politically correct culture. not in a mean-spirited way, because but it's people who just, generally libertarian, and they get together in their own way. But they have some great black wrestlers at the time. Right now the New Day is so excellent for me.
Yeah, I love
I
the
just
New
love
Day.
that they exist.
Yeah, I love the fact that they're still together, because
Yeah, they're
after
they're so awesome in their own way, though.
a couple of years is find a reason to mash up your tag team and have them
Right, some
separate,
shit.
that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
On
Anyway,
the subject of that, just before I forget, like the Shield, for example, one of the most popular tag teams right now, they actually split them up about a year or so when they formed together, you know what I mean? And now they're back together, so not too sure where they're gonna go with that. I have a feeling they're gonna try to get Roman Reigns to be like the next Rock, to be that next
that's
Samoan
the hype.
actor, Yeah, I don't know, but we'll see in
a lot of
due
people
time.
hate that. I understand it, because a lot of people seem to be hating on him because they're kind of contriving him to be the big star now.
Yeah, and then also too, they had him beat Undertaker like in his
Hated.
final match, and everybody was like,
people
"Woo,"
hated
with all that stuff. But I like when he come in on the ring and in the ring, and just said, "This is my year," and that was it. That was all he had to say.
Yeah.
All right, moving on from wrestling, but we stick with TV still. Now we're gonna talk about a TV show. I've been hearing a lot of stuff about it. I chose not to watch any trailers for it. It is based on a Marvel comic series. It's called Runaways. Now, I have little to no, I know little to nothing about Runaways prior to going into this series here. I just saw like a couple of comic book covers for it, and it just didn't wow me. I just didn't have an idea what it was.
Yeah.
Silly me thought it was within the X-Men universe or whatever it is. I'm not too sure what went on. Well, yeah, I wasn't too sure what was going on with Runaways or what it was about. But I saw Marvel and I've seen what they did. Well, Marvel and ABC Studios. Well, in this case, it's ABC Signature, right? And seeing what they did with with Daredevil and Luke Cage and all those shows, where they take these iconic characters and put them in a modern perspective, has been successful for the most part, right? So I was like, okay, with Runaways here, these are some characters that, like, for me, for example, nobody really know about. Well, I know it has its fan base, of course, but not that many people know who these characters are. And these characters in particular, just running through them by name. Alex Wilder, he is the leader of the group. He's this, a black kid. He's a nerd, actually, and, like, right from the start of the season, basically he's trying to get his friends together, the friends who formed this group called the Runaways. The second member is called Nico Minoru. She is Japanese American. I think she's Japanese American. She's also a Wiccan as well too. She's the goth chick in the group. And in this in this series here, even though I'm reading it right now off the wiki page, apparently she didn't have it in the comics. She has something called the Staff of One, which is like this, I want to call it a magical staff, even though they never really say magic. They never use the word magic or mystical. They never use those terms in the series now. So I'm just going to assume it's magical. But it's basically the staff where if you talk to it, like if you give it an order, it will do something, right? So it has powers. The third member is Carolina Dean, and how she's introduced in the story is that her parents have like this church group, right? It's called the Church of Gibborim, right? It's its own religion, basically. Well, it's meant to be Christian, actually, but they never really come out and address and say, oh, well, it's meant to be Christian. But it's its own church, basically, its own religion and whatnot, right? And she's the daughter of the her parents basically are the leaders of the church. Well, they are members of the church, I should say. Her father was a former actor that has part to play with the overall narrative. But yeah, she is literally the church girl in the group. She has this wristband, and then she learns later on that when she actually removes it, she actually has like the ability to glow. So it's like her body, like her skin becomes like rainbow colored, basically, right? She learns later on that she could also fly as well, and yes, of course, she could also send out like these beams from her hands, basically, right? In the comics, apparently she's an alien, but they don't really address that in the show. It's just that she has powers, right? And that's one little flaw that I had with this series, but I'll get to that a little bit later. Next girl next character, she's actually my favorite. Her name is Gert Yorks. She is the social activist in the group. She's a feminist. She's always, always up all for, women's rights and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But she's like that wallflower. She's that chick in the back. She's cute and everything like that. At least I find so. But she's always in the background, and she always feels as if nobody really takes her on. And she does form a love interest with the next character I'm going to talk about in a bit. She is she has telepathic powers actually. And the weird thing about her character, and I know I saw her in one of those covers, those comic book covers that I mentioned before. She has a pet, and the pet actually is a dinosaur.
Okay.
Genetically engineered. I think it's one of those velociraptors. I believe that's what you call them from Jurassic Park.
Right.
And that dinosaur she calls Old Lace. This is a reference in the movie Arsenic and Old Lace. Kids actually parents, right?
Right.
And how they brought on this whole thing with the this again to the whole why does she have a dinosaur? So her parents, right? Um, uh, I'll talk about the parents of the group in a bit because the parents have a lot to play in this story. So her parents in particular, I'll call them mad scientists, right? They just doing a lot of genetic experiments and all that kind of stuff, doing tests on animals, all kind of stuff that they're doing, right? And one of their creations just so happened to be that dinosaur, and they have it locked in their basement. And then one day, Gert ends up discovering this dinosaur, and she just forms this bond with this creature. And on the subject of the dinosaur itself, what was pretty interesting about the design of it. Actually, what's so interesting about that character of Olace is that for the majority of times that you see it in the series, it's actually a puppet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like when you see the full body of it, it's in CG. But like the first time I saw the full body of it, I was like, yeah, don't tell me they're actually gonna use this a lot because it kind of looks a little. I don't want to say cheap, but it just looks like it needs more polish. I don't want to say it's a crappy sci-fi movie, the weak design, but I know when people look at it, they'll be like, yeah, that looks kind of crappy. But I do applaud the filmmakers' effort in trying to make it real by having these little medium shots of the dinosaur. And yes, you'll see like the head and the torso. So I thought that was like pretty clever to actually make it look a little bit real, you know what I mean? But
Right.
but back to the characters themselves. So Gert actually forms this love interest with the character of Chase Stein. He is a lacrosse player. He is the sort of douchey, muscle-bound white kid in the group actually. Well, the
Right.
dumb jock, if basically.
This series do have Polaris in it?
No,
Okay.
yeah,
I thought it did. Okay,
yeah.
no problem.
His parents actually, well, his dad actually is a scientist. His name is Victor Stein. And at first,
Okay.
I was telling myself, wait, that reminds me of oh gosh,
Yeah, Stein from
yeah, Stein
Legend.
from Legends of Tomorrow. I was like, wait. Okay, right. Yeah. He wants to be just like his father, but his father just tends to kind of neglect his son. He was abusive to him
Oh
in the
no,
past
I
as
think
well.
I think I confusing this yeah, I confuse Runaways with the Gifted.
Or the Gifted.
That's
Okay.
that's why I asked for the Polaris because
Yeah.
she's in the Gifted, I think.
I'm gonna talk about the Gifted. I'll bring up the Gifted at the very end, right?
No problem.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, he wants to live up to he wants to be like his daddy as well, especially in terms of science. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
he loves lacrosse, and when he's not hanging out with his friends, he's picking up on chicks and hitting on chicks and whatnot. But he do this smart, and the man wants to really prove how smart he is. He even has like these little robotic gauntlets that he call fister guns. For a sec there I was going to say fisticuffs, but it's actually fister guns, right?
Right.
And last but not least, we have Molly Hernandez. She is the youngest member of the group, and basically she was adopted by Gert's parents. And her power actually is that she has superhuman strength and invulnerability. She
Okay.
learns this actually weirdly enough when she has a period.
Okay.
Yeah, like really weird. But basically, it's when she gets stressed out or when she's frightened or when scared or whatnot. That's when those powers activate. Like her eyes glow, and then she could actually like use her superhuman strength. So about Runaways, about the series itself, right? basically it's these 6 characters, and they just basically just spread apart. And they just moved on with their
Right.
lives. Right after Nico's older sister died, and that's like this long running mystery throughout the series. Exactly how did she die? Um, and through some circumstances that I'm not gonna get into, all these characters. Well, basically, Alex wants to bring the group together. It's just like, well, you know what? We haven't seen each other in a long while. We basically go to the same school, so let me just hang out now. And our parents are part of this group called Pride. This is
Okay.
actually a big thing in like the Marvel universe because they are actually
Right.
a group of supervillains, right? But
Right.
the kids themselves, they have no clue about this. They have no clue what their parents are doing. They just see them as these entrepreneurs, basically just trying to better their community. Well, actually, it's set in Los Angeles, actually. So it's like, oh well, these characters, our parents are rich, and they're doing so much, but they kind of don't understand us because we're millennials and we're growing up, and yada yada
Right.
yada, those things, right? So one night while Alex and the others are together, they end up stumbling onto this secret door, basically, that leads into this underground chamber, and they see their parents, who are dressed in like red gowns, doing this weird ceremony. And basically um it involves like more or less like resurrection, and um more like basically just them trying to live longer, basically, or like trying to draw life from one character and put it into another character. So it's like them trying to live on. So I'm assuming that's what's going on. It's like them trying
Right.
to tap to the secret of immortality, and they do that by basically kidnapping strays or runaways, if you will, people that society more or less neglected, and just sucking out their life essence from them, right?
Right.
So when they learn about this of course shakes them. It turns their world upside down. They now realize, and wait, no, but our parents, we like, they were like these like nobodies, basically, like, and later on in the series they learn that, yeah, they actually uh part of this big ulterior motive, actually, this big scheme, basically. um and while they're doing that, while they're dealing with the fact that their parents are quote unquote evil, they are learning about their powers. They are dealing with life. They're dealing with problems, and it's just them trying to work together as a team while trying to stay, well, basically while trying to figure out exactly what their parents are up to, and yeah, trying to stop them from unleashing their plan to the world, basically. So, right. So, just getting the positives out of the way. So, first off, the cinematography, yeah, that I thought that was great. I
Yeah.
love how real it felt. It really does feel like, okay, like, for one thing, right off the bat with the show, it's set in Los Angeles. It's not set in New York like all the other MC, well, all the other Marvel TV shows that came out over the past couple of years. So this was pretty
Right. Right.
interesting. So it's a lot brighter, a lot of bright colors.
Right.
It really does feel like you're in LA, right? Even right down to the title sequence, which I thought was pretty interesting. A little on the indie side, but I guess as the point of it, it's not supposed to come off like this big superhero series. It more feels like this teen drama, actually, right? And
Right.
right there, as I say, teen drama, this is something that may turn off a lot of people expecting, some big superhero throwdowns and action scenes. This is not that type of show, folks. This is more of a coming of age sort of teen drama, but just set within the Marvel universe. So it's more like a superhero's coming of age, basically.
Right.
Once you could kind of stomach that, then I guarantee you'll actually appreciate the series, sorry, even more. It took a while for me to grow on me because I was like, okay, but nothing really happening here. Why is the pace so sluggish? Is anything gonna happen? Is anybody gonna fight somebody? But it's not that type of show. It's really about these characters and how they're dealing with their powers, how they're dealing with people neglecting them, or how they deal with their friend who died, and them just trying to figure out what happened and those kind of things. Um, Performances I thought were pretty decent, especially from the cast of teens. Actually, I thought that they really were great. I haven't noticed any of them from any show, any character, actually, any actor, I should say, from any show. Maybe I just need to watch a few more shows. I'll be like, oh, he was that guy from that show, but whatever.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, I thought that the performances were great. I thought that everyone, like at least the characters of the Runaways, had their own charm to them, had their own style to them. So like I say, you have the nerd, you have the jock, you have the the goth character, but and they may feel like stock characters, but once you dig in deep and really understand how these characters are, you understand why they feel like outcasts, and you end up related to them. Like I related to these characters; they weren't just these stock college characters that you see in hundreds of shows based on high school, but there was a
Yeah.
lot of depth to these characters. There wasn't really that much going on in terms of the parents. Like the parent stuff was going on, but to me it felt like just backstory. Like they were just there, more or less explaining and re-explaining what they were doing and what the purpose was. And we know, as the viewer, sorry, have to try and see from the kid's perspective, where we trying to understand exactly why these adults are doing what they are doing. Um,
Right.
and I felt that the big ulterior motive was a bit of a letdown for me. It's just like, well, okay, this is like the big scheme. This is what it is about. That's what it is. All right. I thought it was some big master plan to like rule the world or some kind of crap like that. I don't know. 'Cause I'm just thinking like a superhero show now. But no, it's more like, well, we just want to do something in this area, and this was the plan, and we was building on this plan for years. Some people died, some people had to get killed, but this was why we had to do it, and this is what it all led up to. And then when you find out what it is, just like, well, okay, that was it. All right, whatever.
Right.
So to make a long story short, I was more invested in the Runaways themselves than the parents, unfortunately. But I guess maybe that's the point. I don't know. But I do give credit where credit is due. I do like the fact that the parents aren't presented as like these uber villains. They're not just villains for villains' sake. They were
Right.
more or less coerced to do what it is they had to do. They had a reason to do it. Um, Whether you accept it or not, that's up to you. But to me, it was just like, okay, I get why they had to do this and why they had to hide this from their kids, basically.
Right.
Um, the pacing I felt kind of was slow at times, and this is like a 10 episode series, and most of these episodes clocking at about like 45 minutes at least. But there were some moments actually, I should say, that felt sluggish, and basically because you're expecting it to be, because it's a superhero thing more or less, you're expecting more tension, you're expecting more danger, and yes, the runaways do end up in danger, but it's not as serious as all that. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm like at the edge of my seat, like holy shit, what's gonna happen next? It's just like, well, things happen. It's just like, all right, okay, well, that happened. Okay, they kind
Right.
of move on from that. Cool. Um, there are some cool music choices as well. Like what scene in particular was kind of funny, where you heard ASAP Ferg's East Coast song, which was funny because they in the West Coast. It's like, why are you
Right. Right.
playing that song? But I love that song though. That's like one of the hardest songs off of ASAP Ferg's album that came out last year. The name
Right.
escapes me right now. But like I say, it was just kind of funny that they did it. They had that in the show. And once again, just like the other the Marvel TV universe shows that came before it, I do love its sense of realism. Even right now, well, even to the extent Iron Fist. I
Right.
love the sense of realism that they brought to this show. It does feel real. They do feel like real characters. It feel like, well, to an extent, real situations. But it feels totally like if you were to look at it blind, you wouldn't think that this is a superhero show. And then like out of the blue, you see a dinosaur and be like, what? Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
what
Right.
is going on here now? But I love its realism. I thought that it added a lot to the story. And I have to, praise the series itself for being gutsy enough to tell the story in such a real fashion. Um, to not be like the shows prior to it, where it's about characters wearing costumes, it's about magic ninjas, it's about Kunlun and all these other things. It kind of lessens down on the fantasy and the sci-fi factor. And it's just more about these characters, well, these teens more or less growing up and trying to trying to live up to their parents' ideals, but really wanted to be themselves. You know what I mean? And finding a sense of belonging, in this group that they call the Runaways. It does have a cliffhanger at the end, and personally, I was let down by the cliffhanger because I was like, okay, you're building
Right.
up this whole thing, and then it just kind of ends, and it's like, oh well, now they're in danger. Now we don't know what's gonna happen to our characters, so we have to wait till season 2 to see but
Okay.
I don't know. I just felt that they could have just ended the show on a stronger note instead of, all right, we had to kind of wrap this up, so let's just put these characters here and yeah, just end it off like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, overall, while there are some things that I like about the show, some things that I admire about it. For one thing, the realism and the different approach to its subject, to its superhero subject matter. Um, Honestly, I wouldn't say I enjoyed it as much as I wanted to, because I felt because it was within a superhero universe, a superhero context, because I got more of that kind of stuff. Like we've seen these origin stories done before, but done a lot better, in my opinion. Yes, and before I forget, I felt, although I understand why they did it this way, I felt that they kept a lot of things, a lot of aspects of the backstory pretty much hidden. So it's more or less hinted as to why the group split in the first place. But it's later on in the show where you really get to understand what it has happened to Nico's sister. And I felt like it's more or less like the show just kind of drops in the middle of everything, and you just had to figure out who these characters are, what they have to do with the story, why they're doing what they're doing, And it takes a while for you to really understand what these characters are about, especially
Right.
the parents as well. And I thought that was that could have been handled a lot better. Like I shouldn't have to wait till episode 4 or 5 to really understand. Oh, that's what they're doing. Okay,
Right.
you
Right.
just
Right.
kind of drop me into it, and I just supposed to be aware of it, or I supposed to understand what's going on because I read the comics. I'm sorry, I never read the comics, so I don't know anything. You know what I mean? So that's
Right.
it.
Right.
But yeah. So for me, I would give this a strong 3 out of 5. It was alright. It was alright.
Okay. Okay.
Um, it's not gonna wow everyone, especially those who love like Daredevil and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and those kind of stuff. Those fans who are expecting a lot of action are gonna be terribly, terribly disappointed by this. But if you're the type that just wants to see a different, unique take on the superhero genre, then yeah, I say give this one a look. And on the subject
Right.
of The Gifted, which I'm gonna be watching this week, I'm gonna be reviewing hopefully with the next episode. I'm hoping that The Gifted does the whole superhero teenager thing a lot better than Runaways did. So moving along now from TV shows, now we're gonna get into movies. Well, the first two of these 3 movies we're gonna talk about, we actually know for sure these are gonna be Oscar nominees for sure. The first one we're gonna talk about is called Lady Bird, and this was a movie
Yeah.
that I was not so much excited to see, but I just heard so much praise heaped upon
Right.
this movie. So much people called it one of the best movies. Some people say it was the best movie of 2017. And I just had to see it for myself. So
Right.
you just want to fill us in on what Lady Bird is about?
All right. So Lady Bird is about a girl, I think, named Christine.
Yes, but she wants to call
she's
herself Lady Bird. She always makes that
Also,
known.
like, she's from Sacramento.
Yes.
She is a complete flake. She's a goes up in, well, I forget the name of the school, but she's a girl who's in this Catholic school in
Yes.
Sacramento. She is again a complete freak and a brat, and is about her basically growing up in Sacramento and loving Sacramento, and it's basically well, it's clearly Greta Gerwig.
Gerwig. Greta
Gerwig.
Gerwig.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clearly a love letter to Sacramento. You know, this movie felt like to me. It felt like a more serious version of Napoleon Dynamite.
You know, that's not
That's
a
what I was
bad comparison when you think about
Right,
it.
that's what I was thinking of.
The awkward, right?
Yeah,
the
everything
awkward
is about
teen who
teenage
wants
high
who-
school,
yeah,
right?
who wants
And
to be his own self, and
right. And she the person poor and underclass, and they can't really get much, but they have a certain attitude.
and she have a friend who's like a lovable loser. I
Right,
kind of
and
like Lady Bird's friend actually, but
Right, and she herself is a bullshitter, and she's constantly lie about shit, and it's normal teenage shit.
yeah,
like,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And it tried to again. I get why this appealed to my generation, kind of, because it was exactly when I left high school. It was 2003, and 9/11 just happened, and
Yes,
the Iraq
yes.
War happening, and you're hearing Justin Timberlake in the background, and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Not that impressed with all of that, frankly. But that's the story, and it's just her going through an arc with the characters, and then them dealing with things like depression, how you grow up with these kind of things, and then she eventually goes to college, and she what she wants to do, and is the relationship with she and her mother, and the mother, she's not really honest with the mother for several reasons, and you get into why. And yeah, that's basically the story. It's just this big teenage angsty story that didn't really hit home for me, frankly.
All right, so
I just got I'm gonna straight up say it. This movie is grossly overrated. Sorry, not bad. Not a bad movie. Very good, well-made movie. And for a first time, for I understand, it's a first-time director. Pretty good.
well, yeah,
but
first feature film that she did.
this, I can't good conscience get this at 94 on Metacritic. Come on. Nah.
All right, why am I sighing? Because I actually agree with you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? Like I went in with expectations low, right? I just wanted to see the show for what it is. I wanted to understand what
Right.
it is that people were so amazed by and so in love with, right?
Yeah.
And while I was watching it, I was worried that this might end up being this year's Moonlight. Reason why I say that is because
Right.
this indie darling that somehow managed to wow, critics and fans alike, and people just loved
Right.
it so much that we just had to rate this above all the other Oscar nominees or Best Picture Oscar nominees, because I have a feeling this is going to be nominated for Best Picture. All the other Best Picture nominees that have a bigger budget
Right.
and had more effort put into it. La La Land, right?
Yeah.
But okay, so just positives out of the way. The performances, especially
Right.
from Saoirse
Sure.
Ronan.
Yeah.
If I pronounce that name wrong, forgive me, whatever.
Yeah.
But I love how realistic these portrayals were.
Right.
Like it wasn't
So,
like I was looking at the actor, even though yes, she is Irish, and so
Right.
amazing how her accent, like her, how American, how authentic she sounds as American. I thought
Right.
that was amazing actually. The relationship that she has with her friends, with her family, especially her mother, who's played by Laurie Metcalf,
Yeah.
sorry, her sort of gut-like brother,
Yeah.
older brother, and his
the adopted
girlfriend.
brother, I think.
Yeah, I think it's I know the girl was adopted into the family because of some shenanigans. Well, they say it was because of premarital sex. So, okay, that's a reason why you want to kick out your kid. Okay, whatever. All right.
Right.
I don't know, but yeah. So, but that's the relationship between her and the other actors. Even right now to Lucas Hedges, who I mentioned last week, was in Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I thought that his performance here was pretty decent as well. I'm still not a huge fan of him, but I like what he brought to the table here. He especially with this is a couple of emotional scenes. I wouldn't spoil them actually, and a big reveal with his character. That's all I'll say.
Right.
The style of it was pretty interesting as well. But in the back of my head, I was like, okay,
Still-
I like
still
the
forgettable.
style, but I know I've seen stuff like this before.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
there was the Boyhood, for example. Like they did stuff like that already.
Right.
Although
Yeah.
those scenes were more stretched out because, of course, it's spanning years, right? In this case, it's spanning days and months because it's from 2002 to like about, I think it's 2004. So,
Right.
there's a
It's
lot of stuff
roughly,
going
yeah.
on.
Right.
And I appreciate the editor. I like how, how the scenes were cut. So, like, they will show you like a moment, like a character would talk, or the scene might just start mid-sentence in the middle of a big conversation. I just see enough for you to understand, okay, this is what's going on. It's a party or it's Christmas Day, but they're not going to stop the whole show to tell you, to show you, this is where, here's a present, and here's a present, Merry Christmas, and like that. You get the idea, they move on. It's fast.
It has good pacing and good world building for the most part. That is not the complaint. It's just it doesn't do anything that special or interesting in my opinion.
That's the thing, yeah.
I was trying to think of what exactly they're doing interesting other than this character piece now.
Yeah.
And it's not brilliant, just fine. But it doesn't do anything. I mean, it gets into some topics about depression a little bit, which I thought they would have focused on, but they didn't focus on it. It was just okay, fine. They had a little side, like a couple characters you see apparently suffering from depression.
Yes.
Or something along those lines. It's unclear. We know, not a big reveal, but the father is apparently suffering from depression. They don't really make an issue out of it, and then the priest.
Yes. Who was that guy from Fences? And I was trying to remember where I saw that guy from.
Yeah, right.
It's like, that dude, right.
He's a great character actor.
Yes, definitely.
I remember from the newsroom. That's why I remember him last time. I remember
he was in that. Okay, I never.
He was in that. He had a small role, but it stick out to my head his role. But he had a really great scene and sequence in the story.
All right.
But overall it was. And then the story gets into Catholic high school life.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And
So
what I like
into
about that though is that it it would go. You would think it that it would go for the cliche where Catholic life is so bad, and it's all about being free from all these restrictions and all that kind of stuff. But
Right.
they not painting the school as like this bad thing that Lady Bird is suffering through, but just
Right.
a part of her life. This is where she's receiving her education, both education and learning about God and whatnot, and it's just a part of her life. But once she moves on, and this is one theme in the show about her trying to figure out which college she should go to, if she should move to
Right.
New York and all that kind of thing. It's just part of her life basically.
You're right.
But just back to what I said. So so I appreciate the edited. I like how scenes kind of move quickly. It kind of caught me off guard. I was like, okay, you show me this piece and then you show me that and then you show me that. All right, but it doesn't rush it too much. But it's enough for you to understand what's going on. I was like, all right,
Right.
I like it this, but once again, this is not doing anything groundbreaking. It's not like,
Yeah,
oh my god, this edited is so great. Wow, no, it's not like that.
Right. Yeah. Nothing.
Like,
it really does
Boyhood was
nothing.
more
Because at least,
groundbreaking than this, in my opinion.
right. Because you made the analogy to Moonlight, but at least Moonlight does something interesting and concept wise groundbreaking.
Yes.
And it's at least within the context of film.
Yes, it does.
But I can't say this does. It's like, oh, this character is just about, and then she learned she way, but she not really learning she way. And again, it's a really solid character piece. Not
Yeah.
denying that. Everybody plays the role quite well, but again, nothing that interesting or engaging for me, frankly. I don't know what it is that people seen in this film to make it so great.
Yeah.
Is it that it is the first time director? I don't know.
I don't know. But
It really feels like a first time director, and it's like, yeah, the film not that good. It has so many better films. I doubt this will crack my top 10 for last year.
Well, I'll talk about
I
my top
doubt.
10 a bit, but just a couple more things before we get to it, right? So,
Yeah.
another thing, the story itself. Yes, coming of
Yeah.
age. At first, I thought it was going to be about her wrestling with religion and wanted to be herself.
yeah,
I thought
exactly.
it was going to be about her being herself, her being Lady Bird now. And
Right.
like society telling her, no, you must be Christine, and no, I want to be Lady Bird. I thought it was going to
Right.
be like about that. It was going to
Yeah, they didn't do
impact
anything
her
with
in terms of her education, in terms of her religion, her faith, her love life as well, because she has these
Right.
on again, off again relationships with a couple of characters, as all I'll say.
Right.
So I thought it was just really going to be about her becoming Lady Bird now. But it just really
Right.
feels like okay, well, these are just moments in her life. And it just kind of comes out to this one point that, yes, family does matter. And yes, we kind of fall out, but I still love your mom. And you know what I
Exactly.
mean? It just comes out to the same
yeah,
basic thing. So once again, it's not this big profound message that I got in the end of it. It's just like, oh yeah, well, that's life too. Eventually
exactly.
when you move, when you leave high school, eventually when you go to a college far away
Right.
from your parents, you're gonna miss them. That's what happens. So
Right.
no big deal.
As I
Sorry.
say, I kind of okay. So the comparison I make to this is that to all these people who think this is some big brilliant story, I think the comparison I kind of make to it is like La La Land itself. La La Land was a movie that I just couldn't take seriously, even though it was well made.
Oh well, I love his subversion of musicals, like
No, but
basically what it was
right.
what it was telling about musicals and compared it to real life. I love that.
Right.
That what works.
Oh, but the point I'm trying to make is that the arc of the characters is like, oh, well, I'm supposed to take this so seriously.
Oh,
And like,
yeah,
no,
yeah, I see what you mean. No,
no
not
compare.
really.
And then I made a comparison to the movie Don't Think Twice. Don't Think Twice handled the material so much better
Yeah.
than La La Land. And this is the same thing. I was like, it has so many other movies that did this so much better.
Yeah.
Whatever. I go and get my rating
and
quick.
just finally, this last thing's last. And while I appreciate its quick pace, I felt that the 93-minute runtime
Still
kind
too
of
long.
the show a bit. It just still felt too short. Like we
Okay,
got we got enough of Lady Bird, but not like a full story, a full character arc
Right.
to really
Right.
hit it home. It's just like,
Yeah,
all right,
it
we
was
start
just-
off here, and this is where she is right now. Okay, big deal. But
I-
all that
yeah.
aside, though, performances were excellent. I really
Right.
seeing. Sure, she's Ronan getting Oscar nom for this one. If she
Right.
wins, props to her. I have a feeling this might be the only award to get. Although it may get, I don't know, for best cinematography or best director, I
Right.
guess, or best original screenplay, I guess. I don't know,
Yeah.
but other than that, I have to agree with you, Ricardo. Yes, this is
Yeah.
highly overrated.
And I think
And
I-
not,
yeah,
I'm not
I
saying
think
it's
it's
a terrible
because-
movie, but it's really
Right.
not a show that I could say.
The problem
is
is the problem is that if the whole thing is supposed to be bounded on a premise that's okay, is about this character study and so, there's nothing about it so unique or interesting that I can't like feel for this character. Yes, Lady Bird is a moron, but she she had to figure out a way to not be a moron, and she grow in a certain way. But it doesn't do anything like that emotionally powerful. I gonna straight up say it. Much like how Don't Think Twice is to La La Land, where it did the material so much better in terms of a character growth. I gonna straight up say it. The Big Sick did this so much better.
Yes,
the movie I was thinking of.
yes. And
like in terms of especially
it was provocative, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly.
There was
Especially being a Muslim in the United States, and that factor matters now.
Yes,
Well,
like do
she's
something
just
like that. Don't just
why
like,
she's just some
I'm
girl.
just a white girl.
Yeah, I don't know how to factor that in.
I don't
Sorry.
like my mom telling me what to do.
Right.
But
I
every
was
once
like,
in a while
what's
she's
this about
called
this
me to
character?
go shopping. Like, come on,
Right.
I'm a mourner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I couldn't get into this. Whatever. Gonna
But
give it a
rating,
rating.
what is your rating? What is your rating?
Low movie tongue.
Fair. Fair.
Yeah, low movie tongue. Nothing special, just good, but fine, whatever. It have good arcs. It have a good arc with she and the mother. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get into this. It didn't bowl me over in any workable way. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
For me, I would give this a light 4 out of 5 stars. It's still worth checking out. I guess the best audience for this would be for people who just genuinely like indie/non-commercial movies. Yes, there are people like that who exist. People that just do not like big budget movies at all. They like the small films, the praise, the small films to high heaven. I don't really care. It's just if a movie is great, regardless of how big the budget is, that's all that matters to me. But some people like the smaller stuff, and I guess if you like the smaller stuff, you'll like it. I guess basically I know it has its audience. I know a lot of people will love it, but for me personally, I can't say that I genuinely think it's one of the best movies of 2017. I don't know. I don't know. Like just similar to Boyhood, people are gonna forget about right after the awards. I have a feeling it's gonna be just like that.
The same thing. I really couldn't see what it is about. This was so brilliant. So they're great. Like it's well constructed.
Yeah.
It's well constructed.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's so. But what they're talking about not that interesting. Like she as a character works a really strong character piece, but there's nothing about her that like. What about this that I get in?
Yeah, I guess probably if I was white or if I was
I sure it have something about it. No, I agree. I sure it have something about it that blowing over my head. And it's like, oh well, no, you don't not getting what's so special about she or what. And it's like, no, but nothing about it. She lose she virginity. She do like nothing about it.
Exactly.
That engaging.
And it was awkward, her losing.
But that's your point. The whole point. She's supposed to be. I get it. I get all of that. She's supposed to be awkward. She's supposed to be, this, that, or the other. But it just didn't gel or come together in any interesting way. So whatever.
Yeah. But I still say give it a look though. Don't go into it, expect it to hate it, but just see it for yourself. And if you enjoyed, great, nothing wrong with that. But just for us though, unfortunately, it's kind of overrated.
Yeah.
Now, however, Tonya. I'm gonna say this right off one time before we even get to actual synopsis. This is one that I'd actually would rate more than Lady Bird.
Right.
This is one that this is one.
This is how to do. Okay.
This one will be over than Lady Bird.
Right.
I'm sorry. This would have been in my top 10.
Right. This movie was the first hour also was going normal, good, decent. I like it, so and so. And I was watching the only thing I was watching about it, and I was like, all right, this movie looking a little cheap. That was the only problem. Looking a little cheap. Somebody CG. They're just gonna get this stuff out of the way. It was looking a little cheap. Somebody CG was a little spotty at times, especially when it comes to putting Margot Robbie's face on the skater's body.
Yeah, and well, this is something for a bit. There was one shot, right? One shot where, I swear to God, Tonya or Margot Robbie were just spinning right in front of the camera.
Right.
And then she stops, right? I was watching that. I was like, all right, but wait, they just had to spin around a number of times. Like, this isn't real, right? Like, I wasn't sure. It just kind of took me out of the moment. It looked a little unrealistic, the way how she was just spinning. No, it was later on in the show itself. Just one shot.
The face to match the body was a little off. Somebody again the CG now. Was a little off.
I just thought it was like a stunt. Skater that they had for just a body double.
More than likely, it's highly unlikely Margot Robbie ever did any skating in the movie. It doesn't feel like that at all.
But But it'd be great. Like I at that point in time I was watching show, I was like, wait there, but she really learned to do this? Wait, what?
Not doubt. I highly doubt it.
Okay,
it looked like a skater, and they put the CG face on her.
Yeah.
It looked like that most of the time. When it comes to the big skating sequences, though.
Right.
With the movie, I'll say the first hour of this. All right, so the synopsis is basically based on the basically life and times of famous, very infamous skater by the name of Tonya Harding in the early 90s. Late 80s, early 90s. She was very, very talented. But what they decide to focus on is the aspect of why a lot of that talent doesn't matter in a lot of fields, and it's all about presentation and aesthetic.
Yes.
And she did not fit that at all or get it at all. And they keep hammering that home about her.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get into the aspect of, well, yeah, she was kind of a big unfortunate victim in all of this. And how all the story plays itself out. I thought this was a great character piece. Again, the movie was going normal until then they hit the first hour. And then that second act in particular, where they get into the quote-unquote the incident.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last half hour was very strong.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And a lot of this works. Here's why it worked. You know, it reminded me of a little bit. It did the whole aspect of why the People versus OJ worked so well for me, where technology and the nature of media really influenced the discussion and fed back into the whole thing so well. Yeah. And because you have a bunch of people who don't understand how fast the world moving, so they don't get that the consequences of the actions gonna hammer out in ways that it could have never hammered out before the early 90s, before small cameras, before the nature of tabloid news and just the salacious nature. Like, it was always bad, but it just hit a point, this crescendo in the 90s. And again, O.J. Simpson was another perfect example of that, where it just hit this point where it's like, all right, at that point now, you have no control of this. It's just a tsunami that you have no control or power over. Mm. And once it catches you, you're done. That's exactly what happened to she. She just get hammered in all the worst ways now. And this story really worked for me, Jared.
Yes.
Totally worked in terms of making her she's a good guy, but the bad guy. And then they decide to do multiple unreliable narratives and then cobble that together in a really good way.
Yeah.
The movie, again, movies that just get a big power boost when you hear how low the budget is. For all of that CG and stuff, the movie is like $11 million from what I understand.
Oh, would really?
That's pretty cheap. When I was watching the movie, I was thinking, okay, a movie like this is probably $30 million, $40 million, lowest $20 million. Nope, $11 million. Right. Doesn't die not at all. The budget is surprisingly low for what it is, given the nature of the prospect now. Because when you're doing special effects like this, it's kind of be costly. All you can see, they cut little corners there. Mm. And when you're doing like period pieces, right? Because it's one thing to do 2000 period pieces, right? But it's another thing to do early 90s period pieces, right? Lady Bird does early 2000s period pieces, relatively easy to replicate in my opinion.
Yeah.
But because the 2000s is still now, it's like there's no big differences necessarily. But the early 90s was a totally different paradigm. And yeah, to get that done, and then just the general characterization and acting in this was really great as well. The star herself, Margot Robbie, excellent, really good. My boy Sebastian Stan, with the soul himself was hard at this. The mom,
I'll talk about him in a bit, but continue.
Yeah, the mom, great. She was great in this too, and it just overall this overall as a movie just really, really worked for me. It built itself up quite well, and then the ending, that last sequence, the shot, that was excellent.
That just sums up the whole movie in a nutshell. Like, if the poster wasn't enough, that last shot in that movie,
that was really well. I really like this because it really works as a character figure, and the nature of being a victim, what it felt like to just be the bad guy, the narratives that people had to form in and around media. And then, the incident itself, a lot of it works, and there's this level of miscommunication, and then, the general buffoonery of all the characters involved. Like, these characters, sorry to say it, these guys were idiots. And when all is said and done, it's like, oh, wow, that was sad, like how it played out for Sheena. Yeah. And then she take the brunt of the fall now because of who she was. Mm-hmm. And they get in, why it works very well, they get into class. Yes. They make it a class destruction.
Because clearly she has the talent, but because she is quote-unquote white trash, it don't even matter.
Yeah, doesn't matter. No one cares. And if I remember correctly, No. Okay, I was about to say that, but it's not. I thought this was a female director, but it's not.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's Craig Gillespie.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, this just works overall as a film.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Had a lot of fun with it, and yeah, this was hard.
All right, I totally agree with you, boy, Ricardo.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this. I was in from the word go, from the moment that disclaimer came up. I was hooked.
Right.
I loved how they replicated it, because you saw a little piece near the end with the credits where, oh yes, well, Tonya's mother did dress like that in the interview. She did have that bird by the side of her in that interview, you know. Even how they replicated Sean Eckhart's interviews, like there's these little these little not transitions, just little segments where it looks like it's being recorded off a VHS tape. Like, I thought that was great. But yeah, this was solid business from start to end. I loved how, like, at first I was looking at it like this sort of like dark comedy, you know, that basically with Tonya's come up and how rough it was, especially with her relationship with her ex-husband, Jeff Galooly. I didn't even know that the relationship was that rough though, and that rocky. I didn't even know that at all.
She had an incredibly pathological childhood growing up now. So she with the mom. I find the mom is the big one. I mean, Alison Janney was great.
I'll talk about her. But yeah,
Alison Janney was great as Bob. Couple little things, little side things. Oh, so we had to talk about little side role. I don't know where he was playing, but I don't understand what he was, and I thought they should have focused on this a little more, just to hammer home the media narrative stuff. Bobby Cannavale's character.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, this man was terrible, dude. But
I don't know. Every time we cut to him with the interviews, I was just laughing. He was just so funny.
But I don't know because I didn't spend the details learning about the story in any detail. You kind of know the general gist.
Yeah.
But you don't realize, because of the nature of media and essentially how paparazzi and the new industry is forming itself around these salacious public stories. Bobby Cannavale was like the worst of the worst, because he like constantly did things to etch on and mess with her to mess up now. So like the whole towing car stuff and little stuff like that, just to get you outside, just to show, oh look, Tonya Harding again, something just to sell magazines now. It's all this disturbing stuff now. And we had to talk about how Bobby Cannavale coming up, because he had so many good things this year. Like, he had a bunch of great stuff. He was in Mr. Robot. He was in, a bunch of, like, he's a up and coming star. He had to do some big, man.
Last time he was in Ant-Man too. I remember seeing. I think it was like the last time I saw him in a movie. But yeah, back to what I said. So yeah, I love the dark comedy vibe of it though, and I thought it was just going to be straight up like that, like this sort of Goodfellas-esque kind of thing, where once again you're hearing the narration is more or less like this real nihilistic kind of, storytelling. Basically, is like, yeah, this is my life, this is how it is, blah blah blah. I didn't really like that guy, so on and so forth. But then when the incident happens, of course, well, for those who don't know, the incident involving her rival Nancy Kerrigan. That's when it started to spin into this a little bit more of a serious drama, where it's like something happened. And in a way, it's like Tonya, I mean, clearly she didn't want it to happen, right? But as they kind of hint at it now, especially with the little court scenes that they have, well, a court scene actually, it's almost like she knew about it, or she knew about the plan, or she did harbor these feelings of like, envy, at this one particular person. So it's like almost she was aware about it, and the other two guys who were involved with it too. It's just that they went at it in like the worst way possible. And I like how they played it off too. Is like real inept, real stupid. And then you look at it, it's like, yeah, like one character actually say they are like probably the biggest boobs ever in history, Jen. And like when you watch, it's like, yeah, but they real stupid though. Like they actually pulled this off and thought it actually would have worked though. And then when I actually heard, like, the thing that actually sparked the whole plan to begin with wasn't exactly what it was. I was like, really, Jed? Nah, boy, so back to performances. Sebastian Stan, actually, who plays Jeff. I thought he was great as well. He was likable and he was hateable at the same time. I like the complexity of his character. And now I learned how you could actually defeat the Winter Soldier. You don't need guns, you don't need a set of bombs, just kick him in the nuts. That's all they had to do. Man, like 2 nut shots in the movie. Alright. Alison Janney, please
she had to get something.
Give her a best supporting actress award.
Yeah, she was great in this.
She killed it in this. Just from first shot that she was into the last, she just nails it. And the thing is, like, she won the Golden Globe last week for that same role, and I was like, okay, well,
Right.
who's this Alison Genie? I didn't know what she did, and then when I saw,
Oh no, yeah, I love her from since the West Wing. So
okay, she was in that too.
yeah,
You see,
yeah.
I need
So
to follow up on these shows.
Yeah. So that is a.
But yeah, but seeing her in seeing her performance, I was like, yeah, boy, she had to win something for this. She have to win something for this.
Right.
She was so detestable, boy, so
Yeah.
hateable. But that was the point, though.
The last scene with her was brutal, dread. God damn. How would he record her?
Yes,
like, God
like,
damn.
I literally rewind that part. I was like,
that was brutal, dread.
She didn't do that, but she didn't do that.
Yeah, you know? I was like, wow.
You know? But
wow.
There was I don't know. I don't want to call it a code, but it was like some ethics about her that, like, she was hard at her daughter,
yeah,
but there was a reason why she was being hard now.
Yeah, no, but she's a total, like, borderline, but she's a kind of borderline sociopath in that sense now. It's like, she just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And she made arguments about, you know, things about this and making it hard and better and blah, 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 blah. But it's just a bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry, she's like a really shitty person.
Yeah, boy. But, of course, who really steals the show, of course, was Margot Robbie. And, you know, I was really, really excited to see how she would do this performance justice. And, yeah, boy, she killed it. I would love for her to get at least a nomination for Best Actress, because I think she just put in 110% into this performance here. There's a lot different than, you know, her being this blonde bombshell that, she, well, the media and, social media always portrays her as just her transformation as Tonya reminded me a lot of Charlize Theron with Monster, right, from Patty Jenkins.
Yeah, a little
right?
bit, yeah.
So Margot, boy, she was just so believable as Tonya. Even when she was like 15 years old and they just had to do makeup on her and then just eventually show that she got older, I thought it worked great, because I was worried that they were gonna cast somebody else to play her as a teen, and then when she get older, like a couple of years before the actual incident happened, that's when she would have come in. But I like that she was in literally from the word go, from the moment the movie started. I thought that she was excellent. Her acting was on point. Although I wish I could believe that she did a majority of those skating scenes, but I believe that she did have body doubles, or at least
right. I don't really get the sense that she did any.
Do with it. Yeah.
Right. I don't get the sense she did any major skating.
She did it though. But still,
because again, technically, it's where the camera is quite impressive. How the camera moving about her.
Oh yes.
With some of the big skating scenes.
All right. Well, good thing you mentioned that with the camera work. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So there's like this one scene where it's Tonya skating and going from one side of the actual rink to the other one. So she goes and she's talking to one judge, and then she skates and she goes to the next judge, and the camera just following her from there to there. And I thought that was great. There's one shot that, and I want to believe her, because they tell them about the budget and maybe what was CG and maybe what was not CG. Long take. A particular long take that probably will go down one of the best I've seen in a movie from last year. One of the best.
I noticed her face, the face not lining up properly at times. I wasn't eagle-eyeing it, but I still noticed.
Right.
And so it doesn't take me out of the film or anything like that, but you notice. And it was fine. And again, it would have been a problem if the movie was like $30 million or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But when I saw the budget, I was like, okay, because in my head I was like, yeah, this is like $30 million, $20 million kind of thing. If they cut corners, but no, it's $10, $11 million.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, good.
Now, with the technical stuff, at least with those things, with the CG, didn't take out too much of it.
Exactly.
Just that one shot, like I say, where it's just her spinning, and it just felt like she was just spinning and spinning and spinning, like kind of unrealistically. But then again, I'm not too keen in all things figure skating anyway, so maybe that was real, maybe that was really her. I'm not too sure anyway. But the camera work I thought was great. There was like this nice little crane shot where it's like the camera just lifting up from a
right,
feet,
yeah. When she started one of the big
just
routines,
looking up. Yeah, I thought that was
great. Yeah, that was a good shot. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple of moments which felt a little sluggish. Other than that, though, I love the piece of it. I love how it was put together. This is just clearly style and substance working together. It had something to say. It had something to say about, her being a woman, about her being from where being from where she's from and being in this, really established sport like figure skating, and just
Right.
the persecution she received, though, like at the very end, though, the climax of the film, I was like legit feeling so sorry for her,
Yeah.
like you would look at that. There are a few moments where it's like, I see why she's that way. I see why she's grown up to be this tough and all that, and I kind of I respect her for being that way, but I don't really like her that way.
Yeah.
But just the things that happened to her right after that incident was just like, well, and even before that, especially with the relationship with her ex husband, it was like stuff like that. I didn't even know about it, actually. But the worst part about it too, the big irony about the whole movie in general is like, it's just really the film kind of saying, yeah, remember back in the 90s when we used to laugh at her and used to make fun of her?
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha. Well, joke's on you. So this is really what went down.
Yeah.
You're laughing.
No, they make that work in terms of like she being the victim of the whole thing, even though she not, like, you could argue if she isn't or isn't, but they get into the idea of her being in the spotlight, how she had nothing and nobody, and how to have a working relationship with public now.
Yeah.
She's a person who just became a joke forever.
Exactly.
Like forever, and it was brutal
Yeah.
how they make it work now, and they really, really get to that emotional weight of it now.
Yeah, exactly. And just the ending of it, well, at least the last few moments of the film itself, really, well, not to spoil anything, but it really shows how she's still willing to get back up, despite the abuse, despite the licks. She still gets back up and still continues fighting. I thought that was like a really inspirational way to end the story, right? Albeit something that I didn't expect, but really powerful way to end it.
Yeah, they make the culture, because it's the old culture of gatekeeping, and it is, in the case of class, a lot of these industries, a lot of these big systems, I think, had very little to do with talent.
Yeah.
Right. Let's admit that, especially women's sports, it's just about looking good and entertaining the crowd and this kind of stuff now.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people had to go through these rings just for life to be easier for other people now. I forget who it is, a famous figure skating girl. There's a documentary about a famous figure skating girl from France, a black girl, and she had kind of roughly a similar story now.
Really?
Because again, but she's the only person to do, like, much like how she was the first to do the triple axel, American female to do triple axel. She was the first to do a backflip on one leg or something like that. Just the sheer talent of her was beyond everything else. Just she didn't get a fair shake. People think it's a big part of it is race, but it's class and the gatekeeping is be part of it. So you're not sure if it's a real decision people making, or you can't live up to our standards, but people saying it's both now.
Yeah.
It's a system designed to kind of keep you out, kind of thing. And the judge is like straight up saying, you just don't have the look, and you just straight up like point out to Sheena, and a lot of that works. This movie for me was excellent. I didn't expect to enjoy this much. I could forgive the technical issues because of the budget. It's fine. But this worked. Hard.
Well, I agree with you as well. This is an example of style and substance working together. I love the full documentary / mockumentary style of it. I love the docudrama style of it. I love that you got both many perspectives of the same incident, and it's really up to the viewer to figure out which really did happen or not. Although it's kind of clear what happened and who's to blame and whatnot. I love the way how they broke the fourth wall. And there's this nice little style here where you would hear a voiceover narration and it would end with that same person breaking the fourth wall. I thought that was a really clever idea.
I like it. It works for the most part.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, style and substance work well here. I really, really enjoyed this. It's a shame I saw this in 2018, because this would have been in my top 17 list.
It'll probably be in my list as well.
Yeah. So for me, this gets a strong 4 out of 5, man. This is the real deal. Go see this as soon as you can. Margot Robbie has to get a nomination for this. Alison Janney, I rooted for her to win Best Supporting Actress for this. Right. My God, she just killed it here. But yeah, this movie was excellent from start to end. Not perfect, of course. Little technical issues and narrative issues here and there. But still, this is the real deal right here. But what is your rating?
Yeah, I get us a very high movie tongue actually.
Nice.
A lot of it works. It paced itself very well. It was an okay character piece in the first hour, and then that second hour just ramp everything up in all the right ways.
Boy, that did it.
And
Yeah.
it, again, Sebastian Stan in particular, I just had me crack it up how perfect he was playing that role.
Yeah,
He
boy.
was good. Alison Janney was great in this, and it was just so brutal. Just the kind of emotional, ringer she went through. Now this character goes through, and it works.
Yeah.
It works, especially that last piece where she was pleading to the judge. That's so goddamn sad.
That moment, boy, that moment really hit my heart. But yeah.
Yeah, that was sad and real unfortunate. Like they knew exactly how to fuck with her. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So that's it.
Right. And last but not least, now we'll get to actually, this is technically the first 2018 movie that I'll be reviewing for this series here.
Right.
And I had, and this is funny because I had to make a choice between this and two other action films that came out this year. The first being Proud Mary, which was one that I was excited to see because I'm a Gil Tragedy Henson in it, sorry. And then I heard it was kind of garbage. And the next one being The Commuter, which is with Liam Neeson. And I was under the impression that he was done doing these thrillers. He was getting too old for this, but he's doing another one.
Right.
That was like a good matinee kind of film anyway.
Right, so that coming out this week, right?
No, it came out like 2 weeks ago, actually. It's out now.
What, The Commuter?
Yeah, The Commuter is out. It's out.
In Trinidad?
Yeah, you didn't know that.
Wow, I missed that. I thought that was coming out a while now.
No. Because initially when Proud Mary came out, I told you I was going to wait the second week and then watch that with The Commuter. That was the second week. So, but then 12 Strong came out. I was like, yeah, but 12 Strong actually looking a lot better. I mean, for one thing, it's a war film. Right. I mean, come on. So, yeah, I took in 12 Strong, right? It's directed by Nikolai Fugazig.
Right.
Fugazig. Okay, that's weird. All I know is that it's produced by none other than legendary producer Jerry Bruckheimer.
Right.
Yeah, who has given us, of course, the Pirates franchise, the Bad Boys movies, Crimson Tide, Top Gun, even like, big 90s blockbusters like, he did The Rock. I was thinking Feast so first, but he did The Rock. So yeah, when it comes to like, action and stuff, he's the guy who you really look at when it comes to that. But I don't know, like to me that wasn't really the name that drew me to this project. Actually, the name that drew me to the project was Chris Hemsworth.
Right.
Thor himself.
Yeah.
Thor on a horse. We get to see Thor on a horse with with automatic guns, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like come on. Yeah. Yeah. But basically this is based on true events. It's based on a non-fiction book called Horse Soldiers. It's funny because there was a movie back in like the late 50s with John Wayne of all people called The Horse Soldiers, right? So, cool name. So this story begins right after the September 11th, 2001 incident. Of course, the moment that changed America and the whole free world forever, basically. So like literally hours after the event took place, of course, the military is scrambling. And in this case, this particular team, this team is formed between these U.S. Army Green Berets and CIA paramilitary officers, right? So basically, they have some intel that these Taliban cells are located in this mountainous region of Afghanistan. So the plan basically is to try to wipe them out before they get more powerful enough to conquer a majority of Afghanistan and then possibly, do another attack on, some other area in the world. So Chris Hemsworth, as he's introduced, he's a family man, and just want to get to one floor there one time. They do a cliche, right?
Right.
You've seen this cliche before. You know the cliche. Family man is watching TV. Yeah, all of a sudden, the report comes up on TV, 9/11. Daddy, look at the TV.
Yeah,
and he stands and he's shocked and he's like,
call to duty,
Yes, they do that in this movie. And I was willing to let it slide because based on a true story, but I was like,
Still bullshit.
Still, come on, man.
Yeah.
This is cliche.
Yeah.
This is 2000s war movie cliche 101,
That's like,
man. Come on.
I was watching this and I was like, wait, this movie should be at least 10 to 15 years old, you know? Like,
I know, right?
why is this coming out now?
But anyway, right? So at the moment, he is off duty. He spent time with his wife. And well, the wife actually, believe it or not, was, if you remember, from Fast Five. Well, from Fast Five up to the Fate of the Furious. Remember the Brazilian woman who had a relationship with Dom,
with
Vin
Dom,
Diesel?
yeah, who
With
had
Dom,
the child
right.
in it, yeah.
So he goes back to the field basically. He talks to his superiors, one of them being William Fincher, who I swear is sporting some kind of ball. Like, he's bald, like his character is bald, but I have a feeling like it was just this ball cap that he had in his head. I'm not too sure, like I don't watch it close to see.
Well, the actor does look kind of baldinish a little bit, but whatever. He's 60s. He's look good.
Yeah.
It's Fichtner, I think, if I remember correctly, not Fincher. Whatever.
Right. Another character, well, another actor, I didn't expect to see him in it, was Rob Riggle.
Yeah, Rob Riggle.
Well, actually, he is the superior that he speaks to first, actually. And
right.
From what I heard, actually, he did serve time with the U.S. military as well.
Yeah, no, Rob Riggle is actual Marine, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for a while. That was like a running joke, and we know that from since his days on Daily Show.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe he knows the character that he's playing here. You know?
Right. If I heard that somewhere, I'm not sure, but he is the... It was his superior officer, I think, or something along those lines.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're a great soldier. Let me just get out the bat. You're a great soldier, right? But you've never been in combat before. But all of a sudden, you're coming up to me like, yeah, you want to fight. Like, dude, no. Just go in this office here, go by this desk and do some paperwork to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, of course, Chris Hemsworth, being the guy that he is, he's just like, well, sorry, he plays Captain Mitch Nelson. So he's just like, well, you know what? Dude, no. I have to fight here. I have to do this. I am more than ready to do this. So they talk about it a little bit more, and it's like, well, all right, cool. Well, we'll send you. But we're not going to send you by yourself. We're going to send 11 more men to assist you. You're going to go to Afghanistan. And what you're going to do, basically, you're not going to just go and bomb up a whole set of Taliban. That's not what we want you to do as yet. You have to meet up with this. You have to meet up first with another superior. Well, Chief Warrant Officer. He's played by Michael Shannon. He plays Cal Spencer. Once again, he's one of those characters who, they meet up before they go to Afghanistan. I forget. And with Michael Shannon, they do another cliche, which is, son, I'm going off to war.
Oh boy.
So take care of the family, right? Don't worry, I'm gonna be back.
Yeah.
And of course, the son being like, you're lying, I hate you. But
that
one particular
bullshit.
kid giver was like, but you see what's going on here, Jed.
Yeah, you had to slap him.
Why you
you had to
being so
slap him.
angry, dog? Like, you understand what's going on here? You really can't, you know?
Yeah, they must slap.
Yeah, another actor who was in this, I actually saw him in the TV spots because I didn't see any. I refused to watch any trailers for that. I only saw it in the TV spots. Michael Pena.
Okay, yeah. I know he was in this. Yeah,
he was in it as well. They do a cliche basically where it's like, well, the kid's sleeping and I gotta see you again, wifey. Right. So let me just do it one last time, and then she kind of come up and say, no, well, when you come back, then we'll actually do it. It's like, oh, okay, that sounds like a plan. All right, cool. You know, that was kind of clever, like a little attempt at humor. I thought that would.
Right.
So basically, all of them go down to Afghanistan, and the plan basically is that they have to meet up with it's called the Northern Alliance, or at least that's what the U.S. military call it, right? So this is one Afghanistan general. His name is Abdul Dostum.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically his plan basically is just to try to wipe out the Taliban within that area, right?
Yeah. So around there, yeah. So if I remember correctly, during the Afghani war, they had to suss out a lot of that early shenanigans involved with the Taliban. Because what happened is that, well, we know the whole history, but he had basically a not necessarily Muslim group of people. Yeah. That was versus the Taliban, which was basically fundamentalist Muslim.
Right. Exactly. Well, a faction of that.
You could get into that debate about if they were kind of worse than the Taliban in some ways because, they used to do a lot of abuse and warlord stuff. But they had decided the United States, and like sad part is the United States have a obnoxious track record of picking the wrong guys to back. But yeah, this was just a mess. But in this movie, as well as America, so they have no time for nuance.
Exactly right, and he's just basically the guy who knows the layout. He knows the land. He knows the mountains. He knows the caves where these Taliban soldiers are hiding and whatnot. So yeah, he is the guy basically to help them out. But he has his own purpose. It's revealed that his village is being controlled by the Taliban. For him now, it's more personal. This is why he has to wipe them out. For the other soldiers, it's just like, well, this is our routine job. And one thing though is like, William Fincher's character, he said basically this thing is like a 6-week job now, but you have to get this done before the winters come around, because around November time, that's when it starts to get really cold in those areas now. But Mr. Mitch Nelson was like, hey, we could do this in 3 weeks now.
Yeah,
he was like, okay.
Yeah.
3 weeks, all right, cool.
All
right, well, we'll go ahead then. 3 weeks then. 3 weeks, okay, cool. All right, so let's let him go ahead then, because it's Chris Hemsworth, man, and Nazi Tigger. Let's jump into the actual review here one time. So, yes, Chris Hemsworth is great in this film. He's a leading man, right? And he really does show it here. He's not cracking a bunch of he does do a bunch of wisecracks like in Thor Ragnarok, but he just has that stern, determined look. He's that person that you could see being a leader to these people, right? Leader to these soldiers. You buy it to you wanna rush with him into battle, right? He's that type of person. But I thought that overall the performances were decent, not great, but for what they're going for is pretty decent. Michael Shannon is Michael Shannon. I was expecting him to throw a fit, but he didn't, unfortunately. But Michael Shannon was just still there. He's still commanding, in his performance as well. Michael Pena, he's like the everyday man. He's just that guy who would, crackle joke every once in a while to kind of lighten the mood and everything. And I thought that was okay. A person that I was looking at the face, I was like, I know this guy from somewhere, and I can't believe that it's only when I went home and I read up the IMDb page, I was like, oh, it's that dude. Trevante Rhodes was in this.
Okay.
Yeah. From Moonlight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's him. Because I'm watching it's like, okay, I know this guy from somewhere. But the name escapes me, and the movie escapes me as well. But and I forgot to mention too, the actor who plays General Dostum. I thought that he was actually the most complex character in the entire film, because for one thing, he comes off as this wise character, this guy who knows a lot about how the Taliban works, and just the purpose of them wanting to wipe them out now. But he comes off like this, like I don't know, like this sage, like this wise teacher, like he knows war, he knows battle now. There's even one scene where he looks at Chris Hemsworth, and he's saying, well, you don't have the eyes of a killer. This guy have killer eyes. This guy have killer eyes, but you don't have no killer eyes. You know what I mean? So this man has been in the war itself now. He knows what it's about. But he has this kind of code of ethics now, which I really like, where it's for a purpose basically. It's not about superiority or anything like that. It's for a purpose. Basically with the military, they had the advantage of having these planes hovering over these outposts, and once they get the proper location, they just used to drop bombs on them now, right? But still, in the chance that those things don't work out, if a soldier or two happen to escape, then that's where they have to kind of rush in and shoot them. But what makes this film pretty different and kind of fun, but in a little cheesy-ish kind of way, is that they use horses.
Right.
And there are some really cool, badass action sequences involving soldiers on horses gunning down other soldiers who aren't on horses, you know what I mean? And when you really think about it, it's kind of dumb. It's like real cheesy 80s kind of action stuff. But
Rambo 3.
Yeah, Rambo 3. But what I like though is that it overall, just with the inclusion of these horses and just how they use here, it kind of brings a Western style to it as well now, it's almost like yeah, this is a western you're watching here, and this is like this big, like the Alamo, basically, this big battle between cowboys and Indians, basically, if you want to use
Yeah.
that analogy, right? And I thought it made for some really great moments, though, some really entertaining moments. I would say not, you know, like yes, this is plausible and I buy into this, but just entertaining to watch. I thought that the director handled the action sequences very well. There was no shaky cam from what I saw. There was lots
Right.
of like wide and medium shots. The shots didn't last. the shots didn't run for like half of a second. Like say Resident Evil, the final chapter, and other horrid attempts at action filmmaking. This one you
Yeah.
could tell what was going on. It was very kinetic. It was very very entertaining to watch. One thing though, and I was this is actually not bad, but just something that I noticed. It never goes for being overly violent or
Right.
pervasively violent or brutal. Like this is not Hacksaw Ridge. I was worried that we
Right.
were gonna get Hacksaw Ridge, where we was gonna get another movie where you just have to glorify the violence of war and seeing people dying and all that kind of stuff. There, it's not like that.
Right.
It is bloody, but not too bloody as all that. It just kind of plays off as just a run in the mill action movie.
Right.
And this is where we get to like the biggest flaw in the movie. I mentioned it already. Yeah, you can't help but watch this, and even though the story is different, even though the story is, well, at least we always told all this, what's going on is different. Like you've never seen soldiers on horseback, like American soldiers on horseback in Afghanistan fighting all these Taliban soldiers, but still, the way how the story is told, just the elements of it, it really does feel like stuff that you've seen in war films, like over
Yeah.
the past couple decades. Hacksaw Ridge for one. Even year
Right.
before last year, I talked about 13 Hours from Michael Bay, which I thought was pretty decent for a Michael
Right.
Bay movie, and I've seen a lot. But it, like if you've seen, if you've seen a war movie in the past like 10 or 15 years, especially movies related to 9/11, then yeah, you kind of know what you're gonna get
What
with this one
happened,
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, the cliches are there. I kind of let them slide because I know what they're trying to do, but at the same time, I was like, oh gosh, man, like you're still trying to do this sort of psychological thing, or they're really trying to manipulate me to really care. Like, I mean, understand, but come on, it's been done already, right?
Right.
Also, in terms of this, like standard action movie fare, the villains themselves, the Taliban themselves, they are like the equivalent of like the stormtroopers in Star Wars. They shoot,
Yeah.
but they never hit the heroes at all. The heroes
Yeah. Right.
probably get like a little shot, a little peck
My shoulder.
in the shoulder or the
Yeah,
cheek,
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
Bullshit. Yeah.
yeah, probably might get shot in the foot, but never in the
Right.
knee. Nothing like that. Never in the gut.
Yeah.
Nothing
No.
like that. And just the one bad guy, the one leader of this group that they're hunting down. Because I guess the film needs to have a bad guy, but because he's barely in the show, you don't really care. He's just a face. He's just
Yeah.
that Jafar looking character from Aladdin. Sorry, just need that
Yeah.
one
No.
bad
Right.
guy with the long black beard for us to be like, yeah, we hate you. And even
Right.
given one scene that I was looking at it, I was like, okay. Now, I don't want to believe that this is what all Muslims believe, but it's basically this scene with a prisoner that they're going to shoot, and because of what the prisoner did, so it's against their law now, basically what the prisoner did. And
Right.
I don't want, like, for me, because I don't know everything, or I'm not knowledgeable in all things Islam. I don't want to say, well, this is what all Muslims believe, but at the same time, it was just like a real cheap way to say yes, he's a bad guy. It's like a
Right.
real, like, it reminded me of those 80s action movies from like Canon,
Rambo 3.
Rambo 3, Delta
Rambo 3.
Force, those things where you have
Yeah.
to show your villain being ridiculously evil. Like
Right.
one or two moments where he's just so bad that you're supposed to hate on him for the entirety of the show.
Yeah.
Even though you
yeah,
don't
yeah,
see
yeah.
him for the rest of the show.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
They established that.
Yeah, and I felt they could have handled that way better, way smarter. Have a little bit more nuance into it, not just, oh, well, he's a Taliban leader, so he's evil.
Yeah.
Give him a little context. Look, shows like, look, dude, perfect example, Black Hawk Down. add a lot of context to the war itself. It wasn't just a bunch of Somali men with guns, with AKs shooting down at American soldiers. There was context to it. There was a story that was building up to it, and you understand why they were doing what they were doing. And I felt they could have applied that to a movie like this here. The movie clocks in at about 2 hours and 9 minutes. It didn't feel as long when I was watching it, but there were a couple of moments. I keep seeing this throughout the entirety of this episode here, where there are moments that do drag a bit. And personally, it took a while for the action scenes to really come true, but when they do come true, I thought that they were well handled, and they were really excellent. It's just a great experience actually. But to me though, and this is just a big, for me, the biggest gripe of the movie, and I'll throw out a couple of examples of how they could have made it better, is the 12 themselves. And I don't want to say this is like Hollywood cliche or just how Hollywood movies are today, but yes, I know you're not going to get enough time to showcase 12 characters. I understand that. But there are some moments where, I didn't even remember, oh, this guy was from the 12, or this guy was from the 12. They were just in the background, basically. The movie just kind of focused on 4 or 5 characters, basically, and everybody else is just in the background, just firing shots. But, I didn't really care for them. And you had shows like Say the Dirty Dozen or, The Magnificent Seven, which took time to really flesh out all the characters. Yeah. It didn't spend too much time, but enough for you to care.
Even the recent Denzel remake.
Which was great actually.
I thought that was solid. Even that, again, it took time to reference it and then say, okay, you don't have time to do so many characters. You still have to tell a story. And I'll admit it suffered a little bit, but what it decided to do is say, okay, let's contextualize this with the mirror evil versions of each other.
Yeah, I mean, some of the characters in that movie were a little cliche. Like you have the Asian guy. You have the knife. You have the knife wielding guy. Yeah. And that's all he does. He's quiet. He just play with knives. But still, it's a character. I get it. Not, this white boy with glasses and this other fella who like to read a National Geographic magazine. I'm not going to remember these characters. You introduce them to me, fine. But when you should go in, am I going to look out, hey, National Geographic guy here? No. I just look at that, the big faces. And now, in the film's defense now, the other characters in the 12, they are not big names now. So, of course, you're going to look at Chris Hemsworth or Michael Shannon or Michael Pena or even, Trevante Rhodes, But the other characters are sorry. I don't know them to say, hey, I saw this guy on a show. So, because I'm not going to remember names. I'm sorry. I'm not going to remember Mitch Nelson. That's Chris Hemsworth's name in the film. But at least give me some moments where the characters are doing something. I felt they're more focused on 4 or 5 lead characters instead of the others. Even in the quiet moments, you could have given us a little bit more time with the other characters. So when the battles are going on, now I could actually care,
Right.
But yeah, as far as January movies go, this is surprisingly really good though. I wouldn't say it was a total waste of time. It just feels like, just a matinee film, just something basic, just something you could just kill time and just watch if you have nothing else better to do. But, I mean, the story is endearing. It didn't really grip me the way I wanted it to, but, I mean, the story is pretty amazing. Just these guys who went on this effort, who actually pulled off this mission. And actually, they actually said it at the very end when the, text card at the very end that this, with these horse soldiers being involved, it resulted in probably one of the biggest defeats in Taliban history. Just what they did during those 3 weeks, it was a big loss for those guys, you know what I mean? And that's amazing, actually. So yeah, they are unsung heroes, and I'm glad that there's a film like this really commemorating them, really honoring them. But you're right though, this is something that could have come out 5, 10, at least 5 years earlier than 2018, right? You know what I mean? It feels a little dated, and they do use some manipulative techniques to make us care, to remind us about those times and the war on terror and stuff like that. But I see it more as just this disposable action flick. But it has heart to it. It has some it has soul to it. Not a lot of depth, unfortunately, especially with the characters, but still worth checking out. So for me, I would give this a strong 3 out of 5. It was alright. It was alright. If you like your Chris Hemsworth and you want to see him on a horse with a gun firing at soldiers, and you're willing to just enjoy it and just shovel popcorn in your mouth instead of just laughing at how silly it looks, then yeah, I you'll actually enjoy it. But if you're looking for more depth, if you're looking for more realism, if you're looking for more, like something that you will walk out really feeling like, yeah, boy, this really did impact me. Like say We Were Soldiers or Hacksaw Ridge. You're not gonna get that with this movie. It's an action movie, true and true, but just based on a true story. But it wouldn't hurt for you to give it a look. So yeah, if you like them kind of thing, and especially if you're looking for something worthwhile to watch in January, yeah, I say give 12 Strong a look.
Right. Cool.
All right.
Nice.
So with all that being said, Ricardo, where can we find you online?
You can find me, Ampersat, RMEDDY, on Twitter. And then you can just type in Ricardo Medina on Facebook.
All right. You could also find me on Twitter as well. You can look for Legally Black MGB in capital letters. You could also find me on Facebook. Just look for Machi Bailey alongside a Legally Black blog official fan base, where you find a link to this podcast here, as well as the others that we've done over the past 2 years or so. Nice. All right, so stuff to look forward to. Just in terms of all right, first off, before I forget, we have to talk about the Oscar nominees list, which I believe is supposed to be coming out this week at the time of this recording.
Nice.
So I'll make sure to run through the list, and I won't be able to do predictions at the moment yet, because I haven't seen all of these films, and I know for sure I'm not gonna see all of them anyway. But I just gonna run through the ones that has the movies and the nominees, and just the actors and actresses that have been nominated, and share my thoughts on that. Also, just keeping with the whole Oscar vibe, Darkest Hour is coming out finally in theaters down here in Trinidad. So I'll make the effort to check that out. I have my boy Gary Oldman in it, and already, even though I haven't seen the film, I kind of rooted for him to win Best Actor. Although I have a feeling your boy Daniel Day-Lewis might end up beating him for Phantom Thread, but
yeah, so Phantom Thread.
It's depending on when we see Phantom Thread. I really want to see Phantom Thread, and I hope that gets nominated to it. I really hope so.
Right, yeah. Phantom Thread was probably the next movie I'll try to sing, and then Paddington I'll do a review of as well.
Right, yeah, Paddington 2, The Shape of Water, which I'm so excited to see. I would be so happy if this movie gets a Best Picture nom, although I'm not too sure, but at least give Guillermo del Toro a Best Director nom. Just give him a nom.
Yeah.
If he wins, I'll be so happy, but yeah. Also, before I forget, there's Call Me By Your Name. We haven't seen that yet. The Florida Project, haven't seen that one yet too.
I had to pick that off.
Yeah, and also before I forget, in terms of TV shows, like I said with my review of Runaways, I'll make the effort to check out season 1 of The Gifted that we wrapped up last week at the time of recording. So I'll binge all 13 episodes. Yeah, all 13 episodes, and hopefully within the next episode, if not the next episode, the following episode, I will do a review of that.
Right.
All right, so that's pretty much about it. So once again, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you're listening to this. This was Match Billy and
Ricardo Medina.
And we are signing off from another episode of Bears, Beats, and Billy. So until the next one, take care. Peace.
Yes.